Lord Dr. Williams. Last Friday's Kaieteur. It's Wednesday, September 28th. Welcome to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I'm GHK Lall on the National Outlook. It's midweek and I hope that your week is going along, chugging along pretty nicely. Local content law does not give Guyana robust investigative powers over oil companies. Attorney at law Dr. Williams. Last Friday's Kaieteur News. We do not have the power to go and investigate these companies. Dr. Williams is a pretty bright fellow from what I could read. I think he's based in the States. I can't say I know him, but I know of him. And he's on to something. And what the story said is that we've had some good developments with local content law. I have spoken about this before, I have written about this before, and I applaud the government. We have provisions for our own fellow Guyanese to capitalize, to get a piece of the oil pie, the downstream oil pie, supporting services in a whole variety of areas where they can make some money, where they can employ some people if they're companies, where we can work, where we can do better. So I think those are good things. Transportation, providing goods, providing services. These are all good things, and we can only say a good thing about that. And I say, well done to the government. However, what Dr. Williams is pointing to is that compliance with our laws it depends on what the companies, the foreign companies, put to the government and say this is what we are doing. At least that's how I understand it. They are reporting of how they have complied with our local content laws. I think there's a problem there. The foreign companies have an incentive to not produce what is accurate. They may be submitting what is accurate, but we don't really know how accurate it is, if it's fully accurate. And when they do provide things that are inaccurate, reports, we have no way of checking. Again, this is a flaw in the system. So we need to be able to check for ourselves, investigate for ourselves. And I think that's what Dr. Williams is pointing to. He's also saying we must be able to go and to look, to dig, to drill down, to get an idea for ourselves as to what really is happening. We should not be taking the word of others for what is happening, how they say they are doing. That's not good enough. That can never be good enough, because what we are doing there is allowing others to pull the wool over our eyes. And I think this is where Dr. Williams was going. And I think that the government should listen. It does well if it listens, because it will say, look, we've got a loophole here, we've got a couple of loopholes here, and we need to do something about that. We need to close these things. I think the government could look to introduce policies that are tighter, that hold people, that where there are penalties for putting out things that are not on the money. I want to play it safe here. Where the foreign companies come here and participate in our oil sector, I think it should be in any sector, that they fulfill the law to the letter, and that we are able to go and look for ourselves to see what they have done, what they have not done, and what action we should take. I think we should even identify those companies that are doing well. And those ones that are falling or failing, we really need to throw the book at them. I'm GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook.